Ladies and gentlemen, part two of this DVD, WWE Superstars, Top 50 Superstars of All Time, giving you a review. Of course, in part one, I just gave you the top 10. I gave you my thoughts on the top 10 and whether or not they should have been included in that DVD in the top 10. I definitely agree with the top 5. Where did you stand on that? So, moving on to the rankings, which is somewhat of a controversial topic. I know I've talked to a few of my friends that have that have seen the DVD, and they agree with the top 5, but from there on out, it kind of went varying circumstances. And Todd Grisham mentioned at the top of the DVD when in this one that some of these decisions a lot of people would agree with or disagree with it. That was controversial, and I could agree to that to some extent because I'm not disputing that the people included in this DVD should not have a place as the greatest superstar of all time, but whether they were top 50 greatest superstar of all time is where my thoughts lie. So with that, the rankings of the top 50 superstars of all times, of course, uh, there were shockers in it. With that being said, there were a lot of shockers in where people were placed, who was included in it, who wasn't included in it, and that's kind of what I want to be reviewing here and talking about here in part two of this video. Now, some of the shockers. Here are some of the shockers that I want to give you real quick. Of course, we had Batista at number 49. Batista, number 49, right above Killer Kowalski. Killer Kowalski, of course, helping train Triple H, if I'm not mistaken. And it's definitely something that I would have expected Batista to be ranked a little bit higher in this DVD, considering his, some of the feuds he's been part of. Of course, certainly working with Triple H and Ric Flair and Randy Orton, certainly expecting him to be a little bit higher on the list. Batista coming in at number 49. Another one is Jeff Hardy at number 45. Coming in at number 45, of course, Jeff Hardy, current TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and definitely a great. I may not be the biggest fan of his. I may not, cheer him on quite often, but I think he does deserve a place in the top 50 superstars of all time, and maybe even a little bit higher, maybe in the 30s. I think he should be. But Jeff Hardy coming in at number 45. Some of the other ones coming in: Kurt Angle at number 34, Randy Orton at number 29. Chris Jericho, number 25. Chris Jericho only get number 25, and he certainly had a lot of great wrestling matches. Of course, when he was a Lionheart Chris Jericho, he's teamed with Lance Storm back in the Smoky Mountain Wrestling days, and it just varies. I think Chris Jericho should have been at least in the top 20, if not the top 15 of the list. And Hulk Hogan only coming in at number 23, ladies and gentlemen. Hulk Hogan, number 23. That one certainly, that one probably shocked me the most, was Hulk Hogan not even being in the top 20 or top 15 or even the top 10 greatest superstars of all time. And, of course, I'm a little bit biased on this one, though. Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes tying for number 17th place. Dusty Rhodes and the Nature Boy Ric Flair coming in at number 17. So, definitely some shocking choices here of where people are ranked. Like I said, Hulk Hogan kind of helped build kind of the superhero-esque character, kind of taken over in a way by John Cena nowadays, which you could argue that fact, comparing John Cena and Hulk Hogan together. But John Cena coming in at number 16 on this DVD as well. Triple H coming in at number 12, another shocker right there. Eddie Guerrero not even breaking the top 10. Eddie Guerrero, I could see him in the top 15. That's all right. But definitely John Cena, Dusty Rhodes. I'll give you the top 20 here on the list real quick. Jerry Lawler coming in at number 20, Edge at 19, Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair tying for 17th place, John Cena at 16, Mr. Perfect at 15, Macho Man at 14, Gorgeous George at 13. Certainly, Gorgeous George definitely a shocker there. Triple H at number 12 and Eddie Guerrero at number 11. And of course, I've already covered the top 10 with you, so you already know them. But a lot of these, Kurt Angle, of course, being a great submission wrestler, the first Olympic gold medalist to cross over into the professional wrestling ranks, only coming in at number 34. And it kind of makes you wonder why some of these people, I'll put it that way, I'm not going to say, but you guys can probably get an idea of what I'm thinking, but why some of these people might be ranked lower than what you would expect. So, Kurt Angle 34. Randy Orton, number 29. I would have expected him to have been at least in the top 25, not necessarily the top 30. Top 25, Randy Orton, of course, doing a lot more nowadays as far as being predominant out there. Excuse me, a lot of people are actually comparing him to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I can somewhat see it a little bit with the attitude and whatnot. Fans, he's over with the fans, so definitely that. But like I was saying with Hulk Hogan kind of helped, like I said, get that superhero-esque character to come across the television. Of course, kind of crashed the hopes and dreams when he formed the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and which I will get to them in a minute, and as I mentioned them, but Hulk Hogan, I would have expected him to be in the top 10, considering as much influence as he had in helping WWF, WWE get to where it is today. And certainly all the wrestlers have had that part that they played, but Hulk Hogan definitely shocked about it. Chris Jericho, also another one that shocked me because of his amazing, talented wrestling skills. But Todd Grisham, once again, he clarified in this DVD that it's not necessarily judging by their wrestling skills or whatnot. It's just them being some of the greatest superstars of all time. Some of them varying for reasons. Some of it's their wrestling, some of it's their promo skills, some of it's their influence in the wrestling world. So, like I said, I'm not disputing the fact that these people should be included as greatest of all times. It's just a matter of should they be included in the top 50 or should they not? That's where I stand. Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, of course, I'm a little biased toward them because they're a couple of my favorite wrestlers. Of course, Dusty Rhodes, amazing on the mic, and he could tell a story in the ring, especially with his matches with Ric Flair. And once again, Ric Flair, same instance with Ric Flair is the why I think he should have been at least in the top 15, if not the top 10 list. Only coming in at number 17. John Cena at 16. Now, let me say something here real quick. I've not been a big supporter of John Cena for the past few years, and that has come across in my videos a lot. But this DVD has actually helped me have a better appreciation for John Cena. Now, I might cheer him a little bit more than I usually do, or usually did, I should say. But I definitely can see why he is one of the top 50 superstars of all times, because he is kind of that go-to guy right now for the WWE, and he is almost Hulk Hogan-esque in a way, and a lot of people might not be happy with that, especially the Hulk Hogan fans. They might not be happy about that statement that I make, but you can kind of see it because Hulk Hogan had a lot of influence with the kids. John Cena has a lot of influence with the kids. He's over with the crowd quite a bit, and it helped me appreciate him better as a performer. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest wrestler of all time, technical wrestler, whatever, but he can tell a story with the microphone, and once again, it goes back to the promo skills. He has good mic skills, and can entertain and come up with, this, past couple weeks where he was kind of had this mini feud with Dolph Ziggler in a way, and Vicky Guerrero. Him and Jerry Lawler going back and forth that night with the "You're so fat" jokes. Certainly I can see why he's in this DVD, and I definitely have a better appreciation for him. But moving on from that, who's missing in this DVD that I feel should be included in it? Now, a lot of people agree with me on this one. Sting, the icon Sting, of course, in TNA. Could that be? I'm not going to say it. I'll let you speculate. But Sting not included in this DVD, and certainly Sting has an influence, has had a great skill and talent in helping build professional wrestling to what it is. He, of course, is feuded with Ric Flair. He's teamed with Lex Luger. He's, teamed with Hogan. He's, helped with the Wolfpack. Just this transformation of his character over time. Venice Beach, California, coming from California, kind of the blonde hair, bleached blonde hair, that sort of thing. Sting definitely should have been included on this DVD, I think. Of course, he is, wrestling for another company right now. Technically, WWE shouldn't have had trouble with the rights because they've showed Sting in past DVDs of him matches with some of their other current talent or whatnot. But Sting, I definitely think, is the first one that comes to mind when you think of greatest superstars of all time. Sting is the only, I believe I read online, he's the only, which is a fact, he's the only superstar that WCW created and has never wrestled for WWE, which there are various reports of why that is, but they're just reports, they're rumors, speculation, that sort of thing. But Sting should definitely be included on this DVD. Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, the Brainbusters, of course, being managed by Bobby Heenan at one point. Members of one of the greatest factions, in my opinion, of all time, the Four Horsemen. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and Ric Flair, managed by J.J. Dillon. I think Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard certainly have a spot in this. Arn Anderson was involved in this DVD, interviewed for this DVD. Once again, had great feuds. They've had matches with the Rockers. They've had matches with the Hart Foundation. It just Magnum TA, Magnum TA had a feud with him. And where Ric Flair was, the Four Horsemen were usually close behind. So Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard think they should be included on this DVD. Now, Classy Freddie Blassie is included on this DVD, and they talked about him from a managerial standpoint. So, with managerial people being included in this DVD, there is definitely some room for others in this DVD as well, because if that's what they're considering as a superstar, then certainly Bobby the Brain Heenan needs to be in there somewhere. Bobby Heenan, of course, I reviewed his DVD. You can check out that video here, but Bobby Heenan, I think, should have been included on this DVD than if they were including managers from a manager aspect. Of course, Bobby Heenan managing greats like Mr. Perfect. He's been, he's had the Heenan family. Like I said, Arn Anderson, Holly Blanchard. He managed them. He's managed Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. He's managed Andre the Giant, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He's had so many people that he's managed. So Bobby Heenan should definitely be on this DVD. Fabulous Moolah was included on this DVD. So Moolah being included on this DVD, why not some current great female wrestlers, and that being Trish Stratus and Lita, in my opinion, as well as Wendy Richter, who was a great influence in the Rock and Wrestling Connection with Captain Lou Albano, who also I agree should be put on this DVD. So Trish Stratus and Lita certainly helped improve the wrestling and the entertainment value of the women's division for WWE. So why not include them on this DVD? The British Bulldog and Owen Hart. Shocked. I understand why Owen Hart's not on this DVD, but the British Bulldog, I think, certainly has a place on this DVD. And let me quickly go through the rest of them here. JBL Goldberg. I wasn't a big fan of Goldberg, but he certainly had a lot of influence. Goldberg, Psycho Sid, Big John Studd, Captain Lou Albano, Nikolai Volkov, Chief J Strongbone, Rocky Johnson, and just a few of the others that I felt should have been included on this DVD. Now, there might be some people here that I mentioned that, aren't included on the DVD. Let me know who you think should have been included on this DVD. If you do you agree or disagree with my list of people that should be included? Do you agree or disagree with my rankings and whatnot? So, with that being said, here is the end of part 2, and I'm going to go into part 3, talk a little bit about some of the matches that was included on this DVD. So with that being said, shoot on over to part 3 of this DVD review of the top 50 superstars of all time.